gopis to start crying for me. So like that, in this way, I was just, what kind of a life am I leading? I'm just making people cry. That's the kind of a profile that I have. That's my profile, that I'm making people cry. And in Vrindavan, many gopis were attracted to me, but I left them in crying. And I have heard from Akrura and Uddhava that since I left Vrindavan, all my cowherd boys, the gopis, Radharani, my foster, and the Nanda Maharaj, everybody is crying for him, for Krishna. So he's kind of like, but the actual fact is that all of them, they were crying out of love for Krishna because they were missing him so much. But Krishna is projecting it in a different way, saying that, see what kind of a person I am, that I'm making them cry. And I have left Vrindavan for good and I'm now engaged. See, so he's kind of like showing, Krishna is trying to project in such a way that, see what kind of a person I am. First of all, I leave Vrindavan, I make the people of Vrindavan cry. And now I'm happily sitting over here in Dwarka and I'm happily engaging with the queens of Dwarka. So I'm not well behaved with any one of you. I'm I left those people crying, and here I'm just like not behaving well with you. So you can easily understand, Rukmini, that I don't have a proper character. Also, I'm not a reliable husband. And the net result of being attracted to me is to acquire a life of bereavement also. But so it's only like anybody who gets into my life, I'm just making them cry. I'm just leaving them dry. So this is the kind of a situation that I'm doing, Rukmini. And so he's kind of like discouraging Rukmini. He's kind of like putting her off. He's kind of like, disappointing her, saying like, why did you marry me? Because you see, what you have done is not a good proposition. Like, that marrying a person like me was not a good idea. So Krishna was just wanted to see Rukmini getting irritated, and he wants to enjoy that pastime because Rukmini is such a beautiful looking, that she's the goddess of fortune. But Krishna is like, these are all divine pastimes, which he wants to see like how she's going to react and how she's going to be. Because Krishna has shown us that how Satyabhama reacting. Satyabhama was very envious of Rukmini because he got a parijata. And he said, like, even I want it, kind of thing. So similarly, he just wants to see Rukmini in that kind of a situation. He wants Rukmini to see whether she is also getting envious like Satyabhama. So here, quote unquote, what Krishna is saying, Rukmini, my dear beautiful princess, you may also know that I'm always penniless. Just after my birth, I was carried penniless to the house of Nanda Maharaj, and I was just raised like a cowherd boy. And although my foster father possessed many hundreds of thousands of cows, I was not the proprietor of even one of them. I was simply interested with taking care of them and tending them, but I was not the proprietor. Here also, I'm not the proprietor of anything, but I'm always penniless. There is no cause to lament for such a penniless condition. I possessed nothing in the past, so why should I lament that I do not possess anything at present? You may note also that my devotees were also not opulent at all. They're also very, very poor in worldly goods. Persons who are very rich, possessing worldly wealth, they're not interested in devotion to me or Krishna consciousness. On the contrary, when a person becomes penniless, whether by force or by circumstances, he may become interested in me if he gets a proper opportunity. But persons who are proud of the riches, even if they're offered association with my devotees, they do not take advantage of consciousness of me. In other words, the poorer class of men may have some interest in me, but the rich men have no interest. I think, therefore, that your selection of me was not very intelligent. You appear to be very intelligent, trained by your father and brother, but ultimately you have made a great mistake in selecting your life companion. So you can see, like, at what level, the kind of pastimes they're looking at. We are not talking about some king or a prince or a princess or things like of a country. We are talking about the pastimes of the supreme Lord of the universe, whom even Brahma glorifies. Govindam Adi Pushpam Purusha Tamaha Bhajami. Even Brahma is worshipping Krishna. And that Supreme Lord is trying to so much underplay his role and underplay himself, and just to irritate Rukmini Devi, where he's saying, I'm just left penniless, always penniless. And we seen, right, when Krishna, as soon as he born in the jail, of course, like the things of with Krishna, like they're just amazing, very ironical, like, that Krishna being born, the Supreme Lord being born in a jail, that's a very ironical. And then again, he gets shifted from one place to another place. And over there also, Krishna is saying, I was raised in Ananda Maharaj. First of all, he was actually supposed to be born. I mean, he was there as Devaki and Yashoda's this thing should have happily enjoyed. But again, they were imprisoned and he was born in a jail. That was not a happy situation. And then again, he gets carried away to Nanda Bhavan. And over there also, he was tending to the cows, but he was not the owner. So we can imagine, like Krishna, he's actually Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is the one who's who's actually the Lord of all the universe, Lord of all these planets, right? Such kind of supreme Lord who's the Lord of all the planets. He's saying that I'm not even a proprietor of one of them. So Jivanam Sarva Bhuteshu, he is the life behind all the lives, and such supreme Lord. He's saying, I'm not even a proprietor of even one of them, and I'm just interested. I'm just like a caretaker, Rukmini. I don't have even anything to to be proud of, and because and also he's talking about his devotees, the rich people, because we see already, right? Krishna's devotees, they're not like rich devotees. So he's saying like even my devotees, they're not like very rich people. Only people who do not have anything, they only get interested in me. But people are very proud. They just go to Lakshmi Narayan, or they just go to some other devatas and they worship, or they were just worshipping Ganesha, or they're worshipping Lakshmi Devi, but they're not just coming to me. My devotees, they're very, very poor. And even if my rich people are there, they don't associate with my devotees because these people are not rich, kind of thing, like the likes of Sudama, right? Sudama was very poor actually. So like that, he's trying to discourage Rukmini. He's kind of like torment her mentally, trying to tell her like, why did you take this decision? Like sometimes when somebody starts giving you all kind of reasons, we also start becoming very doubtful. Let's say, just imagine like a real-time situation where a husband, after getting married, goes to the wife and say like, why the hell did you marry me? I have nothing at all. Then the wife will suddenly start getting doubts like, have I made a mistake? Have I made kind of a thing? So he wants to bring her to that stage where Rukmini is regretting, or she's feeling very bad that why did I take a chance and things like that. So he's kind of like using all the tricks up his sleeve, Krishna, to kind of like discourage and to see like how she's going to react. And so he's trying to say, like, one, I don't have anything. And second thing, my devotees also, they don't have anything. So they're only the poor class of devotees come to me. But, the interesting thing is that it is true that Krishna's pure devotees, like the Goswamis and all that, they left all the opulences and they went back of Krishna. And we see in all the pastimes of Krishna also where, whenever the Goswami, they were not able to offer, they were offering some dry chapati to Krishna. And Krishna was like, can you just even give something more, little bit more than that? And the Goswami is saying like, this is all I have, Krishna. You have to just adjust with that. So they were so poor that they were not able to give more than even a chapati also. So that's kind of a poor devotee. So Krishna is kind of like showing that, see, this is how the situation of my devotees. But then the most important thing we have to understand from Vaishnavas is that it's not that Krishna's devotees are poor, but Krishna is always reciprocating to the love of his devotees. When Krishna finds that, when you have in this material world, when we have too much of our mind is contaminated with too much material things, what Krishna does is, as we keep progressing in our bhakti life, as we start developing love for Krishna, what Krishna does is he removes all the obstacles, all the things, because when you have lots of money, you become very lot of pride, and then you start getting involved engage in all these things, and the bhakti you will not have enough time for bhakti. Bhagavan Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam tayapahrita chetasa vyavasayatmika buddhi samaudana vidiyate. Krishna says, whose consciousness is too polluted in material sense enjoyments and too much of opulences. When somebody is engaged in too much of material opulences and engaging in sense enjoyment and all that, for those kind of a people, the devotion towards Krishna will not take place. Because why? Because he's so busy, his mind is so consumed by material opulences and sense enjoyment. So the devotion towards Krishna will not take. But again Krishna says, Visaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavajyam rasopasta param dristva nivartite. So Krishna is saying, even if you want to keep your mind away from sense enjoyments, the longing for the sense enjoyments still remains. But the devotees, by having a higher taste, by enjoying, instead of listening to Bollywood song, when they get a higher taste of listening to beautiful bhajans or listening to beautiful kirtans of Krishna, then you start developing a love for Krishna. Then you start losing interest in Bollywood songs or any other song. Similarly, when you taste Krishna prasadam, when you enjoy the beautiful prasadam Krishna, then you start losing taste in all the other non-vegetarian things or things which are not conducive for spiritual life. When you have a higher taste for Krishna bhakti, then you start losing interest in all the material opulences and all this, because you are having because you got a higher taste. So those kind of devotees who have a higher taste for Krishna, Krishna himself, for those kind of pure devotees who are totally engaged in Krishna consciousness, he removes all these material opulences and all these material things which are coming like an obstacle for them in bhakti life. So that is what Krishna actually does. He removes all these material obstacles which are on the path of which are like a hurdle towards Krishna consciousness, right? It is not that he's removing all this them so that his devotees can become poor, but he's actually removing all those things so that they can dedicate all their life completely to Krishna consciousness. Because if I have too many material thing engagements and all these things, my mind will be like in sailing in two boats. On one side we want Krishna consciousness, on one side we want to enjoy all the material world. So when Krishna wants to show his mercy towards his devotees, he removes all these things so that he completely focuses on Krishna. And what happens when your mind is totally on Krishna? So Krishna says when a person who is his mind completely absorbed in Krishna Bhakti by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he enjoys the highest level of transcendental happiness. It's not that when you're focusing, when your mind is completely on Krishna, you enjoy the highest level of bhakti or transcendental happiness. And not only that, when a person is engaged in such kind of a loving devotion towards Krishna, he does so much of devotion that towards the end of the life, Krishna says, because he's thinking of Krishna all the time and he has no more interest in all the material opulences, he directly go to Krishna Loka, which is not possible for ordinary people. So Krishna favors his pure devotees by removing all these opulences, material opulences, so that they can focus on bhakti life, so that towards the end of the life, they can come directly to Krishna. And Krishna is so kind that he says that if my devotee is not able to remember me at the time of death, then I will remember my devotee and take him back to my Krishna Loka. So that is how beautiful Krishna is. By any chance, if Krishna devotees, towards COVID time, there were many Krishna devotees also who passed away, right? But for those devotees who are in such a situation that they were not able to remember, Krishna says, I will remember my devotees and take them back. So here, Krishna is just downplaying him, saying that even my devotees are very, very poor class of people and they have some interest, but rich people do not have interest. But that is not the case. It is actually he himself, he makes them into removes all of them so that they can be. So finally Krishna is saying like, neither I have anything, now my devotees have anything. We are not the opulent kind of this thing. So I think I thought normally you look like very intelligent, but because you've been trained by your father, Bhishmaka, Bhishmaka is her father, and a brother, Rukmini, we see in that, right? But Krishna says, I think you made a great mistake in selecting your life companion. He's almost like literally convincing her. It's a psychological way of convincing somebody, saying that I think you really made a big mistake. I think it's not a good idea. But again, Krishna continues to say, but there is no harm. The mistake can still be rectified. So Krishna is saying it's never too late. Can you imagine? Krishna, by that time, Rukmini also had children from Krishna. But look at how Krishna is downplaying this, right? So this is how Krishna plays with his devotees. So it is far better late. It's better late than never. You are at liberty to select a suitable husband who's actually an equal to you in opulences. Even now, who's equal to you in opulence. So like in marriage, normally say like you should find an alliance where they're lesser than you, or they're higher than you, they're lower than you, but they're equal to you. In family opulence, in family tradition. That's how normally the matchmaking happens, to see that people are of or the similar kind of a background. They used to look at 7 generations. In the olden days time, even when we were growing up, that was what our grandparents used to say. Like in the olden days, people used to look up to 4, 7 generations to see like are they matching in terms of opulence, family tradition, wealth, beauty, and all that stuff. So Krishna is telling Rukmini, it's still not late. Actually, you can still let liberty to find a suitable husband, and whatever mistakes you may have done may be forgotten. You can this is a mistake. So what is the mistake? The mistake that Krishna thinks that even though that she is intelligent, she made a big mistake of marrying Krishna, who is actually like a vagabond and who has no qualities of what a suitable, what someone of caliber of Rukmini should be actually marrying her. So this is what he's made. Now you may chalk out your own lucrative path of life. He's saying like you can just take your own independent decision. Usually a person does not establish a marital relationship with a person who's either higher or lower than his position, which I was just mentioning. My dear daughter of the king of Vidarbha, who's Rukmini. Rukmini is the daughter of king of Vidarbha, who's called as Bhishmaka. So I think you did not consider very sagaciously before your marriage. So you did not, Krishna is saying you didn't weigh the pros and cons. Why did you? It was not a self-will decision. It was not a wise decision. I think you made a wrong choice by choosing me as your husband. You mistakenly heard about my having an exalted character, because Rukmini heard about Krishna from Narada Muni, right? So he's saying you mistakenly heard about my character, about my having an exalted character. Actually, although factually, I was nothing more than a beggar. I mean, this is the heights of it, isn't it? Krishna just saying that you selected, I'm nothing more than a beggar. Can you believe that? Krishna is his husband of the goddesses of fortune, and now he's telling the goddess of fortune only that I'm a beggar. Without seeing me and my actual position, simply by hearing about me, you selected me as your husband, because this is what happened, right? Rukmini did not even see Krishna also, but she made up her mind that only Krishna I'm going to marry, nobody else, and that's my final thing. If I have to wait, I will wait till another life. I will do austerities, I will do everything, get another life, but still I want to marry only Krishna. So that is the kind of level of love that the Rukmini had for Krishna, which is one of the most important moral that we can get from that, is that if you want to fall in love with Krishna, you have to engage your mind, your senses in listening, like how Rukmini was listening. Shravanam is the most important, the 9 limbs of bhakti. The first limb is Shravanam. So we should always learn, because our epics give us ethics. It tells us like how you have to follow the beautiful morals which are coming from our divine pastimes of this Hari Katha. So Krishna, this beautiful, every leelas of Krishna gives us beautiful things, the ethics to follow and the love that has to be followed. It gives us the knowledge about, because on our own, we do not know how to pray also. We do not know how to engage in loving relationship with Krishna also. But by hearing this divine pastimes of Krishna, we can learn from the gopis how we have to love selflessly Krishna. We can learn from Rukmini how we can fall in love with Krishna without seeing. Like that, from every story of every Leela of Krishna, we can learn something. Because unless we learn from these beautiful devotees, from Kunti Devi, we can hear that how we should always not look at problems in such a way, but look at problems as an opportunity to always sincerely worship Krishna. Like that, from the Pandavas, we can know that life is not a bed of roses. Even they faced problems, but still they never gave up on the love for Krishna, had faith of Krishna. Avasya Rakshabe Krishna Viswasa Palana. They never gave up on Krishna. In fact, they were asking, in fact, the Pandavas were asking Krishna, Krishna, what did we do that you are showing so much of love on us? You know, that's the way they were looking at it. So here Krishna is trying to tell Rukmini that what made you choose, I'm not even good as a beggar. Then why did you have to just by listening, how could you just go and choose me? You know, there was a situation where one of my friend who came from the US, and like he's such a, in those days, like, I mean, I'm talking about a decade back, and he just landed up marrying the girl without even, he just came, seen that girl, and got married. And after the marriage, he was not happy with her, and then later they got divorced. And then again he came back, and this time actually he went and met her and all that, because at one point of time that was the kind of situation, like people come from abroad. They wouldn't have even spent some time even talking also. They just come out there, land up out there, just get married and go. So there's very little time to even know the person also. So here you can see that Krishna is trying to put that argument, that it was not a sensible thing, that how could you just choose me without even seeing me also? You should at least see me, and at least you would have got an idea like how I am, but you didn't do that. So he's saying, like, without seeing me in actual position, how you selected me as your husband, that was not rightly done. That was not a right thing to do. Therefore, since it is better late than never, I'm advise you now to select one of the great Kshatriya princes and accept him as your life companion, your marriage. So this is like the final nail on the coffin, like it's like putting the last nail on the coffin. Like, Rukmini loves Krishna so much that she loved him, and with so much of love, she was ready to even get on his chariot, even though she was seeing him for the first time, and she go with Krishna getting married in Dwarka. And such kind of Rukmini who had so much of a love for Krishna. So look at the way Krishna is tormenting her to see her reaction, that he's telling like it's not too late, even now you can reject and go and marry one of the princes who are actually qualified to marry you. So Krishna was proposing that Rukmini divorce him at the time when Rukmini already had grown-up children. Therefore, Krishna's whole proposition appeared to be something unexpected, because according to the Vedic culture, there's no such thing as separation of husband and wife by divorce. So so many things that we learn from the Vedic culture, right? In that point of time, there was no concept of divorce also. If in case, I think I think many of us from the Indian background, we were seeing that when we grew up, we don't even know the spelling of divorce. We didn't even hear about it. But now, with the globalization, with so much of, the world becoming like, people going abroad and the Western cultures sweeping into India. And now it's become such a common word that we keep hearing here and there. But when we grew up, when we were small, we didn't even know because we would look up to our parents and we would look up to elderly people and once they get married, it was forever. Um, but slowly, of course, the culture was changing. But that's why it's very important to listen to Harikatha, because this will bring to us about the our epics. Like as I said, our epics will give us the ethics, like how it used to be in the Vedic culture and how it was at that point of time. So again, he's saying, nor was it possible for Rukmini to choose a new husband at such an advanced age. So here, it's not like Rukmini was newly married and with Krishna, and now it's like, she's saying like, okay, it's only 1 month since we got married. Why don't you just reverse your decision and go away? It's not that situation. Also, Rukmini already had grown up children, and it's like a proposition coming up at a stage like this. And to Rukmini, every one of Krishna's proposals appeared crazy. So that's a very normal thing, because obviously, when someone who's so much in love with her husband, this could be the most craziest proposition. And she was surprised that Krishna could say such things. She's like, why is Krishna saying all these kind of things to me? Simply as she was, her anxiety was increasing more and more at the thought of separation from Krishna. So we can see like how, so this is the first time like Krishna is kind of, Rukmini is showing her reaction, that her anxiety was growing more and more, even at the thought of separation from Krishna. Forget about even going and taking that step, but even the thought that Krishna is proposing this to be away and just go and leave Krishna and get married to someone else. Because throughout the Krishna Katha, we've seen that everybody, including the princes, the 16,000 princes, and everybody, whoever came in front of Krishna, they were totally enamored by the beauty of Krishna. Right? Why Krishna was called Bhagavan? Bhagavan Uvacha, we see throughout Bhagavad Gita. Why he had six opulences? Bhaga means opulences. And one means one who possesses the six opulences. Unlimited beauty is one of the things. Unlimited strength, unlimited power. He had everything that every princess and everybody was so much in love with. So here Krishna continued, after all, you have to prepare yourself for your next life. So Krishna, see, like he's going on, his advices are continuing also. He's even now in that advisory mode. So now he's turned one, he's like a psychologist. He's playing the psychology of Rukmini, and one, he's downplaying himself and trying to tell her that he's not a right decision. And now he's playing the role of a consultant who's giving advices. Like when you go to a bank, you have those people like, portfolio managers who give you advices. I think this is where you need to, this is what we advise you to do. So he's saying like, I therefore advise you that you select someone who can help you in this life and in the next life. Normally they say like, a wife and husband, like they would have covered like 7 lives and things like that. So here he's saying like, why don't you prepare someone who's actually can be help you in this life and go on to the next life also, because I'm not able to completely situation in a hell because I'm not worthy of it. So, my dear beautiful Princess Rukmini, you know that all the members of the princely order, including Sishupala, Salva, Jarasandha, Jantavakra, and even your elder brother Rukmi, are my enemies. They do not like me at all. Of course, we know, right? When Krishna came to, already there was a rumor that Krishna is going to come and pick up Rukmini, and so everybody were like ready for Krishna. Like, okay, because they heard the rumor and they know that there's somebody who's Krishna is going to come at any time, and they were so fully prepared to fight again. So Krishna is saying here, all your elder brothers, Ishipal, and all of them, we see in that, right? All of them were chasing Krishna. So the beauty about Krishna Katha is like Krishna, there's never a boring time. There's always full of action. Krishna is always full of action. And we can see that he's not even wasting a minute. He's like every time it was switched on, it is like Supreme Bhagwan in complete in all opulences, right? Even the Leelas are also full of action. So he's saying like, even your people, all your people, of the princely order, they don't like me at all. They hate me from the core of their hearts. All these princes are very much puffed up with their worldly possessions and do not care a fig of anyone who came before them. In order to teach them some lesson, I agreed to kidnap you according to your desire. But actually, otherwise, I have no love for you, although you loved me before the marriage. So this is like taking it to the another level. On one side, like it's like it's like putting more chili over a wound. Already, Rukmini is just going through a tormentation, and she was like full of anxiety, thinking, "How am I even going to think of being away from Krishna?" And now he's saying, like, you should choose someone who's going to be a partner in this life and your next life, and also, I don't have any kind of like, I don't have any love for you. Okay, so can you imagine like a wife being told by a husband saying that, I don't have any love for you, but you only loved me. You did a terrible mistake, and I just agreed to kidnap according to your desire because you sent me a letter, right? You know that Rukmini sent a letter through the Brahmana to Krishna telling him, I just made up my mind. Can you come and pick up? So because you sent me a letter, Rukmini, that's why I just went and kidnapped you and got you. But otherwise, actually, I don't have any love for you at all. I was just doing because you sent me a letter. It was just an obligation. And as I've already explained, I'm not very much interested in family life. So Krishna is saying he's not interested in family life or a love between a husband or love between husband and wife. By nature, I'm not very fond of family life, wife, children, home, appliances. As my devotees are always neglectful of all these worldly possessions, I'm also like that. So he is comparing himself with his devotees that he is not at all interested in family life. In Krishna consciousness, a lot of people they have this challenges, right? Some people are very fortunate because wife and husband are both a Krishna consciousness, and that goes to some extent nicely because both of them they can understand. It's just like two movie actors; they know that the lifestyle is like that. So both of them are supporting each other. If two movie artists they get married together, they know that this is how the life is. So they support each other because they say like, okay, I have my dates, you have your dates, and let's adjust accordingly. So similarly, devotees also sometimes they're okay. Both if both wife and husband are. There was a time when I remember like asking one of the devotee, I said like, Prabhu, why don't you come and join our satsang? And he straight away asked me, Prabhu, do you want me to get divorced? I thought maybe he didn't understand my point, my request. I said, like, Prabhu, what I was telling is, why don't you join our satsang so that we can all listen to Bhagavad Gita and Krishna Katha? Because you're a wonderful devotee, I'm asking you to come and join our satsang. He said, Prabhu, I heard you very well, but I'm asking you, do you want me to get divorced? Because if my wife gets to know that I'm listening to Krishna Katha, the very next thing that will happen is we will have a big fight and we will get divorced. So do you want me to get divorced? So I was like, oh my God, I mean, these are all realistic situations. It is not necessary that every time we have a situation that both wife and husband have the same kind of a level of Krishna consciousness. It doesn't happen because each and every person is going on through his own journey of Krishna consciousness. It's like we come together and just like the river, like, sometimes they just part ways and make different ways. Like we just come together. So sometimes even in a marriage also we just come together, but everybody's journey is very, very independent. All of us have a one-on-one relationship with Krishna. Some people are very advanced, some people are just starting Krishna consciousness, and some people are not at all there at all because they do not have so much of piety to. So some people say, I'm not interested in Krishna consciousness. For that people, Krishna says, Naham Prakasha Yogamaya. I'm covered myself with Yogamaya. So if that husband or a wife who's not interested, Krishna covers himself with Yogamaya. But other person who's interested in Krishna, Krishna says, Tesham Satata Yuktanam Bhajati Pritupuram. For you, I will give you the knowledge to come back to me. So it happens like that. So Krishna is saying like sometimes my devotees who are so absorbed in this, they're neglectful of worldly things because they're so much into me. They just even neglect the family or they just look down on because they're so much interested in Krishna consciousness. I'm also like that, Rukmini. I'm also interested in self-realization that gives me pleasure and not this family life. So again, he's kind of like telling like, I'm not interested in family life. I just only got married to you because you only asked me to come and marry you. And otherwise, I'm not interested. I'm only interested in self-realization. Even my devotees are also like that. And after this submitting his statement, Lord Krishna suddenly stopped. So I'm going to stop over here. So Krishna has stopped, and even I'm going to stop here because the nectar is flowing all the time. But somewhere we have to stop, and like a dam, we have to just the flow of water. We have to just stop it like a dam for this week, and we'll have to just open the dam so that the nectar keeps flowing again next week. But I just want to stop over here. As always, it's so beautiful and exciting to hear Krishna's beautiful reciprocation to the devotees. And like we are, because all of these things, those qualities, Krishna is a Nitya Nitya Nam, Chetanas Chetana Nam. Krishna is a person, we are a person. We are all part and parcel of Krishna. But Krishna is unlimited, Anu, and we are limited, Vibhu. So, but we are part and parcel of Krishna. So every quality that we have, it's actually like sometimes we may have some of the, when we look at the qualities of Krishna, we may introspect and say, you know what? I think even I'm like that. But because our qualities are coming from Krishna. Like, if you take a small drop from the ocean, Prabhupada explains, like if you take a small drop of water from the ocean, it has all the qualities of the ocean water. So similarly, whatever the qualities that we have, also we are just a small drop of the Supreme, right? Mamaivam se jeva loke jeva bhuta sanatana. So we are that's where the qualities come from. But again, not to mistake that Krishna is unlimited, even though we are part and parcel of Krishna. In quality we could be, but in terms of quantity, Krishna is unlimited. His pastimes are unlimited, Krishna is unlimited, and whatever leelas that he does are unlimited. So everything is to be understood on a transcendental platform. These are all divine leelas, and we should always enjoy these beautiful leelas, because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Machitta madgata pranam bodhayante parasparam katayanchascha mam nityam tusyanti cha ramanti cha. Krishna says, the thoughts of my devotees always dwell in me. That means the Krishna devotees are always thinking of Krishna, and my devotees get great satisfaction and bliss by always enlightening each other in the mood of reciting Krishna Katha, which is exactly what we are doing. This is exactly what Krishna is expecting from the devotees. Matchitta madgata pranam bodhayante parasparam katayantascha mam nityam, which means my devotees get great joy and bliss by always speaking about Harikatha with each other. So, which is what we are doing. We are listening to Harikatha with all our devotees, with all our loving devotees. Only in the association of devotees we can enjoy these divine pastimes, because all of us are in the same mood of devotion. The nectar of devotion is there for all of the devotees. Only in their presence only we can enjoy this Harikatha. Otherwise, it is not possible to enjoy this nectar. So on that note, I would just stop over here. As Krishna said, he just stopped his point, and he did everything the best that he could to irritate and provoke Rukmini to see like what's her reaction. In today's material world, but again, it's Vedic culture, and they were so dedicated. You just imagine someone, husband, trying to tell in today's world, the reaction will be different, I think. But again, let's stop on that note, and let's reserve the rest of the nectar for next week. And any realizations, corrections, anything else at all? Hare Krishna, Maga Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Reshmi and Himal Prabhuji.
Pure divine nectar, Prabhuji, pure divine nectar. Amazing how you relate it to daily life, and how the Krishna book has virtualized, daily chores and mindset, and how you bring it to reality.
Absolutely, Prabhuji. When devotees are there, I just get inspired to just speak whatever from my foolish mind, whatever little that I can. I'm just not worthy of all this, but I don't know why Krishna is giving me this opportunity to even serve and share with our devotees. But I'm like someone who's really enjoying and rejoicing, just even listening and sharing with everyone. So it's very joyful.
When you relate it to real life, that's when, it actually brings it to reality. So thank you for doing that.
Yes, Prabhuji. I think it's so important. I think more than being emotional, I think we have to be realistic, because Krishna is realist. We are very realistic in his everything that we see. You can see that even in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna gets very compassionate. Krishna, I cannot fight my grandfather. I cannot. How can I do this, Krishna? How can I do this? And he becomes emotional. He starts crying. But Krishna is very strong, right? He says, no, Arjuna, you're a Kshatriya. You have to stand up and fight. So we have to take the message from Krishna, that Krishna wants all of us to be strong. Atisto
Right.
tista bharata. Stand up and fight. This is what Krishna is saying. You have to stand up for your dharma. We all have Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma. So we have to stand up for your dharma. So everywhere Krishna is just not getting emotional, but Krishna wants us to be realistic. He wants us to take the whole world head on, and not be, but at the same time, don't be attached to all these things, but give your best and leave the rest to me. So very important to to understand the message from Krishna in the proper light, on the nectar, whether it's Krishna Katha or Bhagavad Gita. Very, very important how we translate, because the way we understand Krishna Katha, the way we understand Bhagavad Gita, that drives, because in everybody's head there is a certain philosophy. if you ask somebody why did they did do like this, it says because this is what I think. So that philosophy is very, very important. That is why listening to Krishna Katha, our ethics, our epics will give us ethics actually, that this is how we are supposed to be according to the Vedic culture, you know. So
Very
thank
true.
you,
Yeah.
Hemal Prabhu, as always, very supportive and enjoying the nectar. So thank you very much for giving your association. Naril Prabhu, Shantish Mataji, Amaga Prabhu, anything you would like to, you also any corrections, please do so.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna Amaga Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very beautiful session, and it is the nectar.
Yes.
Like just when Arjuna was in front of keeping Arjuna, so Krishna extracted Bhagavad Gita from all Sarva Upanishado Gavo Dogda Gopalanandanaha Padavachaha Siddhir Bhokta Dugdham Gita Amrita. Likewise, you are extracting all the nectar from Krishna book, Prabhuji. So we are really relishing all these things. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amaga Prabhu. And thank you for sharing us about your trip to Kumbh Mela. Yeah, we can only bring to our mind how beautiful it must have been. But yeah, but again, we all, one of the main thing is we have to understand that highest benediction is what Krishna is offering us through the Harikatha. That once we listen to Harikatha, we get both mukti, bhakti, everything, and we go back to Krishna. This is the highest benediction that Krishna is giving us, which is what we are trying to enjoy here in Devotees Association. Any other comments, Gayatri ji? So happy to have you from, joining us from there.
Hare
Uh,
Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, it was wonderful nectar.
yeah,
Very nice to hear Prabhu from
yeah.
you.
Thank
But
you.
I just had one question, Prabhu. When you
Hmm,
said, like Krishna said, Rukmini, that he doesn't love her,
hmm.
like, did he really say that, or is it like, was he just joking to her?
He
Because he
was.
loves everyone unconditionally.
Yes. Goddesses of fortune. She's the one who's always closer in serving Narayana. Yeah, he was. This is all just a play to provoke Rukmini. And again, everything that he's doing, all these things, is to extract the nectar of devotion that Rukmini has towards her. Otherwise, like, we know so far that Rukmini, she heard about Krishna, she came and became a wife of Krishna. That would be like a normal story. But how do we know how much of depth of love that Rukmini had towards Krishna? Unless Krishna provokes her and pushes her to the corner where she comes back and showing how much of love she had for her. Otherwise, as devotees, how will we enjoy the nectar? How will we know how much of love Rukmini has? We only had that little pastime that she loved Krishna and she came over there. But now Krishna is extracting through the devotees, he's trying to show how much they love him. In that way, we can also develop our love for Krishna. So unconditional love. So the devotee's love for Krishna is very, very important for us, because only then we will be able to rejoice and take it to our consciousness so that we can develop some. So to your point, it was just a play to provoke her, and he was not serious when he said that I have no love for you. That is not true. As you said rightly, he loves all his devotees.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Just to clarify that. Thank you
Yes.
so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol, Prabhu. It was
Haribol.
beautiful, beautiful nectar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank,
Thank you.
thank you for giving us your association, and really hope that someday we see you in London and will be your personal tour guide.
Hari Bol, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. I will just pray to God. Yeah, I would love to come and see the
Uh,
temples in London. Yes, Prabhu.
I'm sure everybody is partial about their own temple they're associated with. And so, in that way, even I'm also partial, but I can tell you, Radha Gokulananda is the most beautiful. You can see in both Sanchit Mataji and Amoga Prabhu both have the beautiful deities. And I can tell you, you just can't take your eyes off Radha Gokulananda. They're the sweetest divine couple in the world. For me, I'm
Yeah.
just like, maybe I'm partial because I belong from the Manor Temple. But
No,
for me,
Prabhu. It is
out the
nice.
world,
Yeah.
to
Yes,
the world.
Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. We will come and yeah, we will surely. Yeah, Krishna's grace. We will come and
Yes,
visit, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah.
yes. If Krishna wants, he can make anything happen. He can. Yeah. Sanchit Mataji, anything you want to add?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, as yeah, we all know every week it's more nectar as we delve more into the story. And Lord Ram is called Maryada Purushottam, and Krishna is called Leela Purushottam. So every chapter, the Leelas, the how it's unfolding, it's just and I mean, I just reflect that wish we were so fortunate to be introduced to these books when we were young, and we were so addicted to TV, some serials, this and that happening, but still got the good fortune of watching Rama and Mahabharata, and we still read many books, but not so much spiritual books. So when we have such beautiful leelas, why do we even need any other thing? It's
Yeah.
so much depth, and then the way Prabhupada has written it, making it easy. Like, of course, when it's 10th canto, it's more formal, like translation purport and that format, the verse. But here, the flow makes the story so interesting. So this is one like very sweet. Every pastime is so sweet. So the more we are delving into it, the more nectar we churn out of it. Yeah.
Absolutely, definitely, Sanchiti, well said. And it's almost like a second chance. We just miss somewhere to hear from our grandparents and a lot of things which you could have passed on, but a lot of knowledge got lost. And it's our second chance that we got through Prabhupada's books. We are once again getting into the nectar. Ancient times, people used to listen from the grandparents and things like that. Was the first source of knowledge coming from, and later the TVs but this is our best chance that we can once again dive into this nectar and just share it with everyone. At least we should, as Krishna devotees, we can tell the world the actual story, because everybody misunderstands Krishna. Oh, how can he marry 16,000 wives? Oh, how can he marry? Because they don't understand that Krishna is called Atma Rama. He doesn't need anything. He's only reciprocating to the love of his devotees. And he's someone who can, he's expand himself into so many different forms. These are the Leelas through which we can understand that Krishna is unlimited, that how he can just expand himself and satisfy each and every devotee. Narada Muni was shocked to see that Krishna was there doing different things with different queens in different palaces. He was like, how can Krishna clone himself or expand himself into 16,000 Krishnas? So that's what is very clear to important for us.
Absolutely.
So this is
Absolutely. Yeah, very true. I mean, when we go beyond that concept of just sahajiyas only relating to the more obvious things that Krishna has done, like stealing butter and all that, as I was mentioning last week, then we understand, like, until we read this pastime, we do not know how humble, as a person he is. Even he is doing a leela that way, but even then. And the other thing I noticed is, like, he always, like in the Krishna, as Vishnu, he's of course as an opulent form, but as Krishna, he never wants to be associated with. He's saying, I'm a beggar. He does not wants to be associated with wealth or opulence. He says, my poor devotees, they ask for me something, or they love me, like, always wanting. What great renunciate we can have, like when we say the six qualities of Krishna, the greatest renunciate. So we see, like, he always, even here, like even after having so much, he's saying, I'm a beggar. To be able to say that, how much humility one needs. Like in this lifetime, we cannot even, people say we are humble, but to go to this level is beyond. That's why the greatest, it's superlative. That's why, people are humble, but to say this is beyond. Even if it's a leela, but he's, there's everything we learn from every word of this book. Yeah.
Absolutely, Sanchiti. And just to think about, like, when Krishna was there in the battlefield, as you said, why we say Bhagavan is unlimited renunciation also. So when he was in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he became a chariot driver for Arjuna, and Arjuna used to literally kick with his feet, telling Krishna, go this side, that side, and he was ready to get kicked by his devotee. This is the height of renunciation. It's like, how could Krishna, because he's so detached, he's like, this is the height of renunciation that which Krishna is exhibited on the battlefield of Kurukshetra also. But yeah, that's why we call Krishna as Bhagavan, unlimited renunciation along with unlimited beauty. So wonderful, Sanchitji, as always, adding nectar to our conversations. So I want to just thank everyone for giving this opportunity to serve, and also wonderful to have everybody's association. So we'll once again join next week. Let's do the final one. Vanchikal Pataribhyasya.
पादं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो अनंत
Jai.
कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय शिल प्रभुपाद की जय let's all say three loud Hari bols to Shyam Prabhu please Hari
Hari
Bol
Bo.
Thank you so
Hari
Hari Bo.
much, everyone. Such a joy to be with everyone. Look forward to seeing you next Thursday. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare